Hi, welcome back. Today we will talk a bit about rest and recovery. So, when you woke up this morning, go back. How did you feel? What was the first thing that came to your mind? What was the first thing you noticed? Maybe even before anything came to your mind. What was it like feeling into your body? Was it this, oh, oh no, I heard a noise that made me get up and I don't want to? Or maybe you didn't even set an alarm. Maybe you just woke up in your circadian rhythm. Bloop! Oh, here I am. Let's go. Time for a new day. Which one of those two is more like you? It could go either way on any given day. It's often a matter of how we condition ourselves and what we make our habits. I heard a talk by Mel Robbins talking about the 5 second rule. She also wrote the book with the same name, and it is really fascinating how when we have the tendency to snooze, like it's just not because we didn't care about getting up and doing the things that we were planning to do that morning. It's more like our mind immediately starts talking to us and telling us, oh, but maybe you should get a little more sleep. You'll be more effective that way. You'll be better rested. And we come up in about 5 seconds, uh, with an excuse of why we're just going to turn around and snooze a little longer. So her 5 second rule says you just count backwards from five, and when you get to one, you get up. Five, four, three, two, one, out of bed. And by counting loudly or in our mind, she says the analytic mind doesn't get to chatter, and that way we end up really getting up and not falling prey to that second part that kicks in. For me, that rule works. It's really interesting. I do wake up early naturally, and about 6 a.m. every morning, and I like getting up that early. I find it really great to make use of my morning time. I know those are my most productive hours, and so the 5 second rule has helped me, especially in fall when it gets light later, to still make my way out of bed. So try it out and see if you like it. Um, in general, morning routines are a really beautiful thing. Like that way, when I roll out of bed, I don't have to think about where I start. Like, okay, go brush my teeth, do my yoga, or like whatever you do in the morning first thing, whatever your routine is. If you don't have one, maybe that is worth considering. Like, your morning ritual could be brewing the best cup of coffee that you can dream of, and if coffee is your thing and you thoroughly enjoy that, that is a good morning ritual to have just to like settle into the day. If it's because you desperately need the caffeine, maybe there can also be different ways of how to up your energy a bit. If you do it for the thorough enjoyment for the coffee, go for it. So, morning routines to find a good way to set our energy for the day, to notice, okay, recovered, well rested, I'm gonna get rolling and it's gonna be a beautiful day. And the tone that we set first thing in the morning sets the tone for the day. So if I wake up and the first thing that comes back to my mind is the worry that I went to sleep with last night, it's not the best way to set me up with good energy for the day. So if that worry pops back in, because it happens, there is no way how we can keep it out. If it's one of those days when a worry popped back in or a disconcerting thought, then we can ask ourselves, well, is this true? Is this helpful? And then where do I go from here? What is one positive step that I could take here? And then with a positive intention and with my intention to bring the best of mine to this day, then I know this can be a great day and it can develop into something really beautiful. If I hang out in my dark cloud of the worry and keep going in circles about analyzing it, not the greatest position for me, Every one of you has to evaluate for yourself what works best for you. I know if I focus on a beautiful outcome that I want to achieve and what the next step is to move me towards that, then I'm going to have a whole lot of positive energy to bring to that, and it's also going to make me a whole lot more effective. So that may be a good one to reflect upon a little bit. Another part of recovery and rest is how we set ourselves up for it for the night. So what do your evenings look like? What does it look like right before you lay down? Like, are you on a machine with a display until the very end of the evening? If so, those emit a lot of blue light, which tells our body that it doesn't need the melatonin because it's still the middle of the day. And that way we end up staying way later than we originally intended to do. Maybe we had the good idea of being in bed by 10 o'clock, and then we look at the clock and it's 11:30 and we're like, wait. And we don't feel that tired, but all of a sudden as we step away, we're like, oh, I am really tired. That's the effect that the blue light of the display has. So if you say, well, this is really what I want to do in the evening, then maybe consider to just put a filter on it so that blue light gets filtered out. It changes the colors slightly, and it certainly helps you to then find rest easier. And even if that still means quite a bit of display time for you in the evening, the last hour before going to bed, maybe you can find something other. Maybe there is something else to engage with. It's really good to wind down in an, let's call it analog way, whether that's reading a book, or doing a little meditation, or maybe even going for a little walk at the end of the day. Maybe it is having a good conversation, maybe it's doing some writing in a journal, like whatever helps you unwind a little bit. A good cup of herbal tea, if that's your cup of tea. And finding a way to release the tension from the day. That can be some breathing exercises, that can be a nice shower that you take with your favorite soap and putting on some body lotion afterwards, or not. It doesn't have to be your game. Whatever makes you feel really grounded and centered in your body is going to help you release any tension that accumulated during the day, and then you're going to have a better night's sleep and you'll recover better. Now, those were the bookends of your night. But what happens during the day? Like, what if it gets too tense during the day? Like, how do you recover? Is there a good break you take at some point? Are you just go, go, go? Are you just on a hamster wheel all the time? Or do you have the habit of having an actual break in the middle of the day? Maybe just observe that over the course of this week. You probably feed yourself at some point. But is that really a break? Or is it something that you quickly shove in while you're running from A to B, or while you're sitting at a computer, and your body doesn't even get to really register what is going on nutrition-wise? So if you do take a decent break, perfect, well done. Like something to just really unplug, take your mind off things for a little bit, connect with nature in any kind of way. If you can walk around the block, or if you can even just be out on your balcony or tend to a couple of little plants, like that's a great way to have little recovery points within your day. And if the tension and stress don't accumulate that much, it's going to be easier to let go of it. It's like if you clean your flat or your apartment or your house once a month, it's going to be a whole lot more work than if you do it every week. So kind of the same with this accumulating stress thing. So I encourage you to find your little pockets during the day. It can just be a few minutes each, and then one longer break to recover a bit in between, to reset. And with that, I invite you to be curious about your recovery routines, to just be a little observant over the next few days, and then you decide if you want to pick up anything that I mentioned and shift something a little. Not all the things at the same time, Start somewhere and then be continuous in them. If we try to shift all the things at the same time, then we may have an initial really good pickup, and then after a few days we feel we're getting flaky on some of them, and then we ditch the whole project. That's a failed self-improvement project. So maybe don't try to go there all the way. For some people that works, and don't be hard on yourself if that's not your style. For many people, it works better to pick up little things and be consistent in those. And that way you see your progress, and you hopefully feel your progress a lot more than that. And after you notice, people around you will start noticing as well. You don't have to tell them anything about what changed, but the people that you interact with, they will notice when you're more relaxed, when you are better rested, when you come in with better energy. So it'll also help you serve the world in whatever you want to contribute to it. I hope this has served you. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.